What will we want to remember about this time in our lives? And what will we want to forget? 8 days into the month of Elul, it seems to me that we have twin desires. The first is to obliterate the memory of this year, to take 2020, 5780, and wipe it from our collective consciousness. And who could blame us for wanting to erase all of the frustration, the disappointment, the loneliness, and immense loss? Our second desire, conversely, is to really dig in, to sift through the wreckage and to examine all that has been revealed in this time. That which has come to light varies from the intensely personal to the sweepingly societal, our own small missteps, and the systemic failures of our nation. I'm sure that I'm not alone in having longed for Elul in the midst of this period of quarantine and distance. For each of us, there are likely experiences from this last year that we seek to discard, and others we want to interrogate. In one of my Elul writing prompts, I compared these strange times that we are living through to Amalek, that mythic biblical foe we encounter this week, who we are commanded to both remember and to forget. I asked participants to consider what memories from these past months they want to hold on to, and those they would have fade away. Here's what I wrote. I want to remember the comfort of home, the smell of bread baking, the puzzles and games, the hours of Foursquare. I want to remember fishing in Jamaica Pond, planting seeds in our gardens, spending full afternoons preparing our Shabbat meals, and the sweet, familiar sound of TBZ streaming in as we ate. I want to forget the fear and uncertainty. I want to forget the kids bickering and the frustrations of too many people and not enough space. I need no memory of rainy, cold April days where we were cut off from the simple pleasure of sunlight. I want to forget Zoom meetings and forever feeling distracted and planning for dinner before lunch had even ended. I want to forget listening to the news and the growing numbers of dead. I want to remember frying samosas, making kimchi, and brewing country wine. I want to remember Pesach with the 5 of us, the smells and tastes of the Seder, and the kids excitedly telling the story of our exodus from Mitzrayim. I want to remember the parsley and kale and early sprouts that reminded us of a new season coming. I want to remember taking our shoes off in the Arboretum. I want to forget the hopelessness and boredom, the low-level depression that hung like a persistent fog. I want to forget losing our patience with the kids, with each other, with ourselves. I want to forget my mother-in-law getting sick, feeling worse and worse, the helplessness of being far away. I don't need to remember the anger and judgment that we had for others taking this less seriously than we did. I can forget that. I want to hold on to the memory of my mother-in-law getting better, slowly. I want to grasp tightly to the gratitude and the relief, never to forget it. I want to remember the long summer evenings in our yard with neighbors, the tomatoes ripening, the birthdays and books we've read, the beaches and ponds. I want to remember lying on the rug in my kids' room and listening to them talk before they fell asleep. I want to remember that this time, like all time, will never happen again, and I might as well soak up all the joy and love and blessing that I can. I want to remember, even as I want to forget. This week's Parsha, chock full of mitzvot, ends with Amalek. Timche et zecher Amalek mitachat hashamayim lo tishkach. Obliterate the memory of Amalek from beneath the heavens. But don't forget. What a blessing to have received such a mixed-up tradition. I can think of no better way of getting around in a completely mixed-up world than by living in relationship with a tradition that, like me, can't seem to make up its mind. I want to shift tones to say that memory has been on my mind as of late. As we prepare to move after more than 12 years in Boston, we've been wondering what it means to say goodbye in a time of distance, and have recognized more generally how challenging it is in any time to part with a community that feels beloved to us. We are so grateful to this community for being a home to us during our years in Boston, to Rav Claudia and Reb Moshe for being teachers and friends, to the people who we daven with and sing with and schmooze with, to all of you with whom we've shared sorrow and happiness. I was running errands with the boys yesterday, and we passed TBZ on our way from Coolidge Corner. One of them said, "I guess we won't go into TBZ again before we go." This is, of course, the reality of this moment, but it still felt painful to hear. We know that we'll be back, but in the meantime, here are a few of the things that I hope they remember about TBZ. A synagogue that encourages you to show up as you are. The sound of full-throated tefillah. Deep engagement with text and deep engagement with the world. The feeling of being comfortable at shul, maybe too comfortable. The closeness that comes from showing up together week after week. Seeing everyone crying during a bat bar mitzvah. The sense of connection between our spiritual lives and our political lives. As we slowly approach Rosh Hashanah, Yom HaZikaron, a day of remembrance, may we all be blessed to savor what we have in front of us, to remember what we need to remember, and to be blessed in that which we can forget. Shabbat Shalom.